You turn my morning into dancing. You turn my morning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my morning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Yo, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Man, shout down there. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. But good morning. I'm so pumped to be with you guys this morning. It is a beautiful day. Ken and I are going to meet you at Boulder Point right here in Waterstone for our prayer walk this morning at 9:00. we're gonna be just doing a live from Boulder Point, from Waterstone, and we're just gonna be praying over our community, over the families there who live there. All right, I got it all good from Bert, so we're good to go. And so if you can't meet us there physically, we're gonna live stream it. So tune in at 9 a.m. We'll definitely. Whatever. All right, so the commercial's over. We're going to get into this. But let me say hi to some folks first. Vivian Davis, good morning. Chuck B, good morning. Good morning. Ken Gooch, Bert Reggiani, Trish, Olivia, and Jody. Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for popping in on this beautiful Friday morning. All right, so Living Sent. I'm fired up. I love this standing desk, man. I can like move around and like I don't know. I might get my preacher mode. My preacher voice might come out today. But I'm just pumped up. So last week we were talking a little bit about not disqualifying ourselves, right? You remember if you watched last week, it's like, let's stop doing that. Let's stop disqualifying ourselves from what God has called us to do and what God has put us out there to do and accomplish. And we just put our hands up like, no, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. It's like, man, it's actually not even about you, right? It's not even like He's put in us everything that we need. And everything we need is to be dependent on him, because he's going to do the work. He's going to really, is a partnership with Holy Spirit, like God, make him one as we are one, right? Like, that prayer that he prays in John 17, that we're one, we're this mutual indwelling, that he's fully in us and we're fully in him, and we get to partner with Holy Spirit to affect change in our environment. And the cool thing is that there's a spirit that is greater than the spirit of the age, that's been roaming the earth for generations and generations past, that has been successful at winning the hearts of men back to an all-loving Father, and that is the Holy Spirit, right? And so we get to partner with that guy, right? That has this proven track record. And so when we're out there, we don't have to be dependent on our own strength. We don't have to be dependent on our own wittiness and cleverness to come up with something to contextualize the gospel in a certain way to appeal to this certain person in front of us. Like, we don't have to think about any of those things. We don't have to know any of those things. We just have to stand and we just literally have to give God our yes. I remember this time I was out evangelizing with my buddy Evan, and like we were talking before or whatever, and then this guy comes and Evan's like, man, I gotta speak to this guy right now, right? And so we go and we talk to this guy, and he breaks down the gospel in a way that I had never, and I've been with this guy for like almost 6 months at this point, and he breaks down the gospel in this beautiful way. I never heard him share it like that before. And then afterwards we're talking, and we're like, dude, like, where did you think, how did you think of that? He was like, what are you talking about? Like, and I was so like, bro, you said this and this. And he was just like, I did, it's just like, it's like kind of what Pastor Tom talks about, like sometimes on Sunday mornings, like he just gets going and he's like, he doesn't even know what he's saying. Like, Holy Spirit just kind of takes over in those moments. And that's what it's about, right? At the end of the Great Commission is a promise, right? And so when we go out and we're doing what he called us to do, to go make disciples, right? Teaching them all that he commanded us to do. And then he ends with this beautiful promise. He says, lo, I'll be with you always, even to the end of the age. And so, like, when we're doing the things that God's done, he says, lo, I'll be with you, right? I'm not sending you out there alone. I'm not sending you out by yourself. I will be with you, right? And so my encouragement, again, from last week is just like, don't disqualify yourself, right? And so we look at our world, we say, man, it's crazy. The political climate, like all the hatred, like it's crazy out there. I know that's true, right? But do you also know that God predestined you to walk in good works? Like he literally thought about something that was going to happen and thought about you and said, let me make this person, right? Like he was like, Friday, what is today's date? Friday, August 23rd, 2024. Oh my goodness. Cheryl is going to be going through a crazy situation. She's going to be at her lowest point. Bob, oh my goodness, Bob's going through this crazy thing. I better make a King Gooch. Oh, I better make a Connie Sandberg. I better make a Vivian Davis, right? Leslie is going through the craziest situation right now. Oh, she's gonna need a Chuck, right? Like he thought about these things, and he literally knit and formed you in your mother's womb. Like he formed you for such a time as this. Yeah, it's crazy out there. And that's why he made you. That's why he put you here, because there's good works that he's predestined you to walk in. And so don't disqualify yourself. You were created for this moment. You were created for right now. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that awesome? And so maybe I want us to do this. I want us to pray a dangerous prayer. Right. And you don't have to do it while you're watching this stream, but later on, maybe when it's just you and the Lord and you're thinking about it, but maybe you've been walking with the Lord for a long time. Maybe you've been living your life for God for a long time, but it's been your will, right? So the most dangerous prayer that Jesus prayed, right, it was not my will be done, but yours be done. And so that's what we're going to pray. We're going to pray that God, yeah, I've been walking with you for a long time, but it's been my will, right? Like I've been in control. I've been in the driver's seat of my own life, and you've been kind of like an advisor, right? And so we're gonna pray this prayer, and we're gonna say, God or Jesus, I give you my will. I give you my life. Do whatever you want to do with it. That's the prayer. That's the prayer. And so we're going to stop disqualifying ourselves. We're going to stop walking away and say, I'm not good enough for this. And we're going to say, nevertheless, not my will be done, but yours be done. God, if it's your will, I'm doing it. I'm stepping out. I'm doing it. So we're going to relinquish our will to Jesus today. All right. And so whenever that moment is for you today, I just pray that you would pray that dangerous prayer, that you would give your will to the Lord, and you surrender, just like Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane. That his will is better than ours. His way is better than ours. And so let's give it back to him. That's it, y'all. I hope this was a blessing and an encouragement. I'll see you back here at 9 for some prayer. Yeah, that's it. Peace.